of the organizers know so we can check you in.
Raise your hand would have been helpful.
Or raise your hand.
Thank you. Anybody else? Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
I'm so sorry.
it happens. Oh, Scott. Are we streaming? Okay, it says we're streaming, so we're great. Like, and then the people ran behind the thing. Hello, people on the internet. Did Steven go? Hello and welcome to our May 2023 our Remix NYC Meetup. This is our 7th meetup, so we started back in November, and welcome. These are the organizers. That's me, that's Atticus, my dog, and then Quentin and Steven are around here probably trying to get you checked in, and other things. Hi, I'm Adrian. I'm a developer advocate at Cockroach Labs. Yay! Yeah. Clap for Cockroach Labs. So we always like to start with our code of conduct. This is the short version of the Remix Conf code of conduct. But TRDL, don't be a jerk. Actively try to be nice to everyone. Thank you. And if you have any problems with that, please find an organizer. So we like to make sure that this is open for everybody and everyone feels comfortable and welcome. There is a Discord. So how many of you are on the Remix Discord? A few of you? Okay. So if you ever want to reach out to us through Discord, there is an NYC channel underneath meetups. If you have ideas, etc., yeah, put it in there. We try to post about the meetup in there as well. There is a YouTube channel, and I updated this slide. So for people who have come before, so we have past meetup recordings and streams available. So if you miss one, you can watch the recording. And we're also streaming live. Hey, everyone. We have a call for speakers. We're constantly calling for speakers. So if you want to talk about anything Remix, React related, even like probably web technologies, we are here for it. If you are speaking at a conference and you want to practice speaking at a meetup, it's great for that. Also call for sponsors. We're always looking for another sponsor to help us out. Cockroach Labs has so generously donated this space whenever I ask for it because I'm the one that schedules it. But sometimes it's nice to have food. The next meetup, again, we aim for the third Wednesday of every month. So that makes June 21st our next one. And we are looking for sponsors and speakers. So please reach out to us if you have an idea for either of those. We want to thank our sponsor. We have two of them, but the first being Cloudflare, who gave us this delicious pizza for tonight. And I believe Ricky's going to come up and do a demo. All right.
Adrian, you need my mic stand? So
Yeah. So I'm going to give you... Oh, do you...
Yeah, I got
Okay. I was like, we could also just... And then we'll wait for it to pop up. Hey. There we go.
What's up, everybody? Wow. Okay. I like awkward silence, so I was just going to let it sit there as long as possible. Hey, I'm Ricky from Cloudflare. Super stoked to be here. Who has heard of Cloudflare? Can you just like throw hands up? Okay, that's pretty good. Who has deployed a Remix application on Cloudflare pages? Okay, the people who work at Cloudflare.
And Eli.
And thank you, Eli. We will find a way to get you a t-shirt, Eli. We are going to solve that right now because today we launched something I'm super stoked about, which is we call it C3, which is npm create Cloudflare, and I'll make this bigger so y'all can see it. And when I run this, we can create a new application on Cloudflare. We can pick a website. We can pick Remix. And then this ties in. And I'm going to lose so much credibility here. I'm going to go down and do it. I'm so happy that my first talk as a Cloudflare employee, you all booed me. So that is great.
Tell us this will be high.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So this is going to tap into how you normally do an npm create remix and then deploy this to Cloudflare pages, all in less than a minute ish, depending on Wi-Fi. And so by the end of this, if we come back and we sponsor again, and I say who has deployed a remix application on Cloudflare pages, you all can raise your hands and say yes, because we did it together here. As soon as we just sit through this Wi-Fi, going through the timing of installing everything.
Yeah, and Workers now supports TCP, so you can deploy that Remix app using CockroachDB now.
Yeah, and look, here we are. Boom. Yes, we are going to deploy this, and it will happen. And then, like your cooking shows, this is going, but I won't make you all wait anymore. It is your standard Welcome to Remix live on Cloudflare pages. So please, if you want to give this a try, we'd love your feedback. And thank you for letting us come and hang out.
Yeah, thank you. Like that one link is it says like deep dive jokes, but I always read it as dirty jokes, and I was like, that doesn't seem right. Not this group. All right. Oh, look, all of my things. I have places to be, like here. So thank you, Cloudflare. What is that? Okay. The next sponsor, CockroachDB, for providing this wonderful space. Make sure you go out and like see the view from the roof deck. Sorry, internet, the camera. I guess I could turn it that way, but it's not. We're not having it. Again, I'm Adrian. I'm CockroachDB developer advocate. I changed up the slides so you don't have to see the same ones, but this is a release week for us. So this is our spring 23 release. And I wanted to highlight a couple things that are new. So now we have, we're available as a service on Azure. So before we had access to GCP and AWS, which meant one cloud was sadly lacking. And we have that now in, I believe it's a private beta. So if you work for someone that uses Azure and you want to try CockroachDB out, I don't contact me. I think there's other ways to contact it, but like I can find the person. So that's really cool. But then the thing that I'm very excited about is multi-region capabilities in Cockroach serverless. So you can deploy a single instance across 1 to 6 regions. Right now we have 6 AWS regions and 6 GCP regions. Makes multi-region databases very affordable because it's on our serverless architecture. So it's consumption-based pricing, pay for what you use, and those services can actually like scale down to 0. So before it was pretty cost prohibitive because you had to pay for that all the time that was being used. Now, if there are regions that like are sleeping and therefore they're not using your app, you're not paying anything for that. Woo! And then I condensed everything else down into this one slide because if you are looking to sign up for CockroachDB serverless, here is a QR code. If you use that, it will give credit to this meetup. And then that helps us out whenever I ask for money for things like food or beer, for here. And then also we have Cockroach University, which is free online courses for learning about distributed SQL, distributed databases, and CockroachDB. And then the thing that I think is really cool, we have our own definitive guide. So like through O'Reilly Publishing, we have the CockroachDB definitive guide. And if you scan that QR code, you can get it for free as a PDF. Because otherwise it's like $65 on Amazon as like a regular book. So, all right, done with that slide. Also, we want to promote React training. So they are doing a remix workshop. So built web apps faster, smarter with Remix. Obviously, I've practiced that. But with using the promo code remix-NYC, The price is discounted down to $300, which is pretty nice because the early bird price, which is no longer available, was $350. So don't we feel special? So if you miss all that, you can come find me later. Now it's time for quick pitches. So this is your time. If you are hiring, if you're looking for a job, if you're working on a project, if you want to shout something out, now is your time. And we have Steven with the second microphone waiting. Who has a quick pitch? All right.
Testing. 1, 2, 3. Hey, everybody. Hi. I'm glad the only Corona we care about now is the Corona here in the fridge. So my name's Justin. For right now, I'm an ad tech agent. I'm the co-founder of Morningstar Media. We are essentially what we call an SMS as well as an MSM advertising company, primarily focused on exposure in the forms of followers, likes, subscribers, and primarily what people like the most, which is Patreon donators. So we have a floating flat rate of $1 to $5 based on the kind of subscriber you're looking for. And we also do campaigns and whatnot because my co-founder is in the music space, but he's also the entire dev team, which is why he's not here and I am, as I'm sure some of you can relate to. So yeah, is that good, quick, and dirty pitch?
That's great.
All right, thanks.
Thank you. All right, we got another one. Here it comes.
So I have 3 different pitches. One is I work for Bloomberg. Bloomberg's hiring all sorts of roles, including in JavaScript with React. Please get in touch if you're interested. Second, I'm very happy that we have meetups like this now, and I hope we can organize more JavaScript meetups in New York. I was thinking of organizing something, so please, anybody who's interested in collaborating on that. There was this queer JS, like LGBT JavaScript meetup series. There was one in New York in 2019. So I was thinking of maybe organizing that, anyway. Third pitch is I'm involved in the JavaScript Standards Committee, and please talk to me afterwards if you're interested in learning about that or getting involved.
Nice. Thank you. Anybody else? Wait, do you say, wait, where? Oh. Go, Stephen, go.
Hi, I'm Keenan. This is my first time going to something like this.
Woo!
Hi. Thank you for having me. I am a data scientist at Pitt. I learned JavaScript for that. Basically, I'm not actually a data scientist, I'm a game developer, but the job description said data scientist, and that's what they call me. I don't know if they know what that's supposed to be, but I made a video game. That's how I learned JavaScript. I enjoyed it, but I'm still learning. So Amy invited me to this so I could learn more. Thank you.
Yeah, great. Anybody else? Oh, we got one back in the back. This is also just fun time to let like Steven run around the floor.
Hi, I'm Khalid, and I'd like to pitch just my existence first. I'm here, and I am looking for a job. I'm like React, TypeScript, styled components guy, more front end than back end, at least for now. But I'm just, floating the waves out there. If you like it, talk to me. We can connect, work on something. I'm always open for collaborators and all that jazz. Getting into the open source kind of stuff. I just throwing it out there. I like the vibes here. Good pizza. Thank you. Wanted to end on that.
Awesome. All right. Anyone else? All right. We'll move on. If you didn't get to do it, come next time. So tonight's speaker, we have 2 of them. The first is Sammy, who is a self-described pizza lover and developer. And they will be speaking about embracing the web through Remix. So if you want to come on up, Sammy. Ah, you thought I was a kid. Okay.
I love that picture.
All right. And then I'm just going to leave this here because it's streaming. Oh. All right.
Awesome. Thank you. Hi, everybody. My name is Sammy, fellow pizza lover, and this is my first talk ever in this way. So, thank you. I'm kind of nervous, but I think the alcohol is helping, so let's get to it. So today we're going to be talking about embracing the web through Remix. That's important. Sorry. So before I begin, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone that has made this possible. That includes, but not limited to, the Remix Run New York City organizers, Cockroach Labs, for giving us this space. It's seriously beautiful, as y'all could tell. Cloudflare for sponsoring. Thank you so much. And my dog Milo for giving me the emotional support today. And another preface is, just real quick, this talk may and probably will be chaotic. I'm running on 2 hours of sleep, just that kind of vibe, I may gloss over some things that may need better explanation, so please badger me on them after the talk. Would love to talk about all that stuff. Messing up is very likely as well. Again, I'm on 2 hours of sleep. There will probably be some factual errors, so please take everything I say with a grain of salt. Yeah, and this is my talk, so whenever I give an opinion, it's mine, no one else's, maybe my dog's, but that's it. And again, any questions, all that, I would love to answer them, speak about whatever you may want to talk about after the talk. So thank you, and let's begin. So again, hi. I like to describe myself as a Circassian Syrian American born here who loves my family, pizza, the internet, and software. And yeah, as y'all could see, this is the slide I spent the most time on. And currently I work at Canal. I'm a front-end focused software engineer, but it didn't start out that way. I came in as full stack, and they were in need of someone in the front end. And so I said, okay, I'll do it. And before I knew it, I quickly fell in love with front-end development, because not only did I really love enjoying building for the front end, but also it helped me realize really interesting things about the web. And yeah, so something that I've encountered, and I know a lot of friends have encountered throughout the years, is this thing called imposter syndrome. So yeah, if you don't know what imposter syndrome is, there is a Merriam-Webster definition up above, but basically it's when you constantly doubt yourself for something that, it could be anything. And for me specifically, I've always had imposter syndrome about programming, ever since middle school to high school to now even. But over the years, through working in the industry and yeah, just building stuff for actual customers, I've been able to overcome that. But also something that's helped me overcome that is my incessant need for researching everything. I'm on Twitter, so I follow like a lot of people like Adrian, and whenever someone posts anything, I like look into it, read it a lot, and it helps me feel smarter. And so here's an example of a rabbit hole that I get into often. So let's say, for example, I just realized what Remix is. My thoughts goes like, oh wow, this is like a really interesting framework. Let me look into it. Oh, that's interesting. In their philosophy section, they talk about web standards. What are web standards? After doing some Google searches, I find this website called MDN, and they talk about what web standards are, and they speak about this group called the W3C. So this is not how history played out exactly, but this is a rabbit hole that I get into often. And y'all may be thinking, why is this even important? What does this have to do with anything? And yeah, I'm thinking the same thing, but just follow me. Essentially, when I was beginning, I never really did things with like vanilla HTML, CSS, JS. I was like mainly a React person. And so when getting into these rabbit holes, I like figured out like, oh, HTML, CSS, JS, like you don't need React. And so a thought came up in my mind where it was like, when it boils down to it, all you really need is HTML, maybe CSS, maybe even JS. So why not we just use those? And so I would like to introduce the most popular conversation, which is abstraction. So let's get into what the hell that even is. So abstraction, definition from MDN. In this context, when I'm speaking about an abstraction, it's a way to reduce complexity. And so to like give a small example, like let's imagine there's like this big box, right? And like there's like so many controls and so many knobs, and it's like, how do I like even interface with it? So like then people come up with like this smaller box that's like so much more simpler, and like maybe there's like 2 buttons, but it's a way for me to interface with the bigger box. And like there are like trade-offs with that, of course, but I'm able to understand the more difficult box to understand because of this smaller box. And so that smaller box is abstracting away things. So let's get into it like a real life example. Let's create the most famous program in the world, Hello World. We're going to be printing that out. So we're going to be starting backwards with JavaScript, what we use today, right? And so if we see how we do that, nice. 1 line, pretty easy, pretty simple, sweet, simple. Let's go 1 level deeper using C, okay? Okay, not too bad. It's a bit more complicated, but it's 5 lines. That's not bad, right? Let's go 1 level deeper. Going into assembly. Yeah. Yikes. So this is of course different depending on the machine that you use. This was on my M1 Mac, but pretty much the same results. Where, yeah, it's over 20 lines. It's more than 1 line, right? So, yeah. Assembly used to be the daily driver, right? It used to be the thing that people would use daily. But people realized, of course, there's many other things, but people realized maybe this isn't the way we should create these programs. Maybe we could make things simpler. And yeah, again, okay, that's cool, Sammy, but like, what does this have to do with Remix? And it actually has a lot, like so much to do with Remix, but there is one more thing I want to talk about for abstraction, so please, just give me some time. Yeah, the important thing I want to talk about, the last thing is, at which abstraction point do we stop at? And so, what does that even mean? Let's dive into it. I'll give another example. So with this example, we're going to go into creating a website, and my thought process, at least when it comes to creating a website. And so this website I want to build is for my own personal portfolio, just like, sammysamco.com. And so the first thing I think about is languages. Okay, I'm going to use HTML. That's a thing that I'm going to use. HTML, though, is just HTML, right? I need something else. Okay, CSS, let's do that. Probably I'm going to want to do some things with JavaScript, make it interactive, all that sort of stuff. All right. There's not that much, there's no deadline for me to do this. There's no pressure to do this at a certain time, so might as well learn a new technology. I never use Sass, so let's use that. I'm going to be interacting with the DOM a good amount as well, so let's add jQuery. But I haven't used jQuery that much, and it's going to require a lot of state management, maybe React is better. But React is like bare bones, and there's going to be routing involved, and there's this framework called Remix, so let's use that. but this is all like so complicated. I'm just gonna make a portfolio website. Let's just use something simpler. Let's use like Squarespace. Yeah, nah, let's stick with Remix, actually. That's fine. So, yeah, as we just went down this, like, process, we were able to find, I was able to find what abstraction point I was comfortable with based off of my experiences, my skills, what so have you. And for me, once I got to that Squarespace level of abstraction, it just didn't seem like the right fit. It didn't seem like something that I would enjoy using. It would fulfill my needs for the project and for the portfolio website. And I went through some of these questions, like how long can I take for this project? How secure? How performant? What level of customizability do I want to do? Do I want to use the skills that I have on the web platform, or do I want to use Squarespace? And with going with Squarespace, I would have to learn their platform. I would have to. I started with React, but then went to HTML, CSS, JS. Barely used website builders. I'm more comfortable using the web platform, not Squarespace's platform, not Weebly's, not Wix's. But that's what I would have to do if I use Squarespace's. And with Squarespace, there comes trade-offs with that abstraction. They make things simpler, but also there's trade-offs with maybe customizability, all this sort of stuff. And now we're going back to Remix. I promise this all ties back to Remix. So Remix touts a lot about being close to the web standards, being close to the web platform. And they actually have a section in their philosophy page about, it's literally don't over abstract. And so from their website, it says, Remix's job is to cross the center of the stack and then get out of your way. We avoid as many Remix-isms, kind of tough to say, Remix-isms as possible. And so Remix is really trying to not introduce developers to new concepts. They're trying to use things that are already baked into the browser, things that are baked into the web platform. And that's exactly what I want. That's exactly what I need. And Remix tries to incorporate that wherever they can through all sorts of things. And we're going to get into some of them, such as fetch. The way Remix fetches data is the way that you would do if you just had a plain old HTML site with, JS. They use the window.fetch property. And they say that it's 100% built on top of it. So you're able to use things like headers, request, response. Remix is built upon this API. And so you could just do something like this. This is taken from the Remix docs. And it'll work. It'll work. And you all might be thinking, okay, obviously, but this is not the case for a lot of frameworks. In some frameworks, you have to kind of work around this, and you can't exactly do things the way that you may be used to with vanilla HTML, CSS, JS. And so you can also, create your own response object and await all this sort of stuff. So if you were to learn this with HTML, CSS, JS, vanilla, it would transfer to Remix. And so another one is forms. Remix forms works just like any plain old HTML form. It's literally just a wrapper on top of it that adds really nice niceties to it that combine and mesh well with the Remix framework. This is literally how the Remix form component looks like. It looks like just how a HTML form would look like. And again, with the niceties that are included with Remix, like optimistic updates. Most of this talk was about abstraction, but that's a core part of Remix in the sense that Remix abstracts the web platform really nicely and in a neat way. It makes things that are difficult for the web platform easier with Remix. And we covered such a small part of what Remix is able to do. There's so many other things. Remix, it's really important that when abstracting, you do it right, and I truly believe that Remix gets that and does it correctly. But yeah, thank you. I hope y'all enjoyed yourself, learned something. Any questions? Answers?
Congratulations on your first public talk. If anybody has any questions for him, I am happy to bring you the mic. Anybody? Yeah, I got one.
Yeah, so I'm kind of building some stuff with Remix these days, and one thing that like kind of like got my brain moving on, which is like kind of like the usage of Remix and what it's like, kind of like that like middle of the stack concept, you know. I was kind of like wondering when you get like more towards like the front of the stack, you know, like specifically I've been like kind of struggling with the like 3JS React 3 Fiber stuff and Remix, and like I don't know, I just was kind of wondering like what you thought of in terms of like a philosophy of Remix for like stuff like that, and kind of like where like abstraction kind of works in with that.
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, I should have prefaced this from the beginning, but yeah, I actually never really built a Remix app fully. I like did demos, but I'm mostly so interested in their implementation, the way they do things. And so, just to get your question correctly, are you asking where does Remix fit in like the life cycle of a web app? Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I guess it's just like, is Remix like focus, is that what you like, is that like the, you know, if you're like when you're going through these like abstractions, you know, and they have these different frameworks for React to choose from, do you feel like Remix sets itself up well for that? Like and yeah, I mean, I don't know, like the basically like looking into this like more like front end like libraries, you know, because if you're looking for like something that you're saying like fetch and built-in APIs, like maybe like these like third-party libraries that are still like pretty big but yet aren't really built in just yet, you know.
For sure. Yeah. Okay. I get it now. Yes. Yes. Remix is ready and a great option for front end. I would say that, let's say, right, like we have so many options, thankfully, in this space. We have like Remix, we have Next.js, we have SvelteKit, we have Solid Start. We have like so many. Remix is one of the newer ones. I mean, there's always new ones, but Remix has readied itself in a way where, yes, it is ready, but they have shipped out the sort of, from what I understand, a minimal feature set. So they haven't like, they don't support everything. Like I'll say this. So I recently read this like article that got popular on Twitter where it was this person talking about their cons against Remix. And they mentioned things like Remix is too opinionated, and all in a respectful manner, by the way. Like they were championing Remix throughout. And they had all these, like, they had this huge list, but at the end they said Remix is still ready, but it doesn't allow certain things. So it depends on what you're looking for. So like when we got to that abstraction point in the slide, it depends on where you're at and what you're trying to build. What level of control do you want? Remix is pretty opinionated, but Remix can do a lot. So I would say yes, Remix is definitely production ready. I mean, they got acquired by Shopify, and they've already redone some of their websites with Remix. So for sure, Remix is production ready. Yeah. I hope I answered that nicely.
What did you build?
I honestly can't remember. Like literally, I barely have built anything with Remix, but I guess you could say I'm a not even mediocre, but a kind of low-level Remix scholar. Like not a Remix developer. No. I haven't done much, but I follow Ryan, Michael, the co-founders of Remix, and intensely. And I I know a lot about them, but I honestly can't remember what I built with them. I think I was trying to build my website with Remix, but it was way too simple. So that example that we went through was completely doctored. That was fake. That was not a real example. But I really want to use Remix for something. Once I get the opportunity, I will, but I just haven't had the opportunity. Yeah.
One of your slides mentioned something about crossing the stack or middle of the stack. Can you provide more detail? And also, can you contrast that with other approaches that other frameworks take?
Yeah. So I think you're talking about this slide. So yeah, in their documentation, they mention Remix's job is to cross the center of the stack. So I think this wording is honestly kind of, excuse me, I think this wording is not completely accurate because Remix actually, I forget if they, by they I mean the Remix founders tout this, but people have said that Remix is, it was actually in that article that was like listing cons about Remix. They said Remix is the first, they feel, full stack framework. And by that, I mean, Remix is able to do things and fetch on the back end and then retrieve that on the front end very nicely, and unlike any other framework. So essentially, like, you're able to create queries, fetch queries, and then literally in the same file, render that, whatever you fetched. And Remix was the first. Next.js is doing something similar now, but yeah, Remix is kind of that, I guess, center star in that, in that way. So, so this is some things that I've read as well, and I think I agree. Again, I haven't delved too much deep into Remix, but Remix is pretty dynamic, right? There's a lot of frameworks out there that tout themselves as dynamic, and I think Remix is one of those, as opposed to some more static ones like Gatsby, like Astro. So like Remix does things, a lot of things on the, it kind of, it doesn't do like much like static site generation sort of thing, SSG. It's much more dynamic in that way. So yeah, I don't know if I answered your question, but okay, awesome.
All right, let's give him a round of applause. This one's very tinny. I'm going to switch back to this one. All right. Oh, you turned it off. Sorry, that's okay. All right, yeah, so we're going to switch back. Give a second. It's always nice to have 2, maybe 3 mics to use. There we go. Oh, we wrapped it around. I'm plugging this in just so I can like unplug it again here really quickly. But we have another speaker as soon as everything wakes up. All right. Next up we have the Remix Chrome extension tool by the Remix DJ team. And how many of you are there tonight? There's 2 of them. Okay. But you can see the people who are not here in this wonderful picture. So, yeah. So I will pass this off to you. Who wants the mic?
If she's setting up, I can speak first. Hi, we're Remix DJ. 2 of the 5. The other 3 couldn't be here. But we're just going to show you a quick demo of our Chrome extension, which you can download on the store. It basically just takes, when you're building a Remix app, you have your routes, and it basically can detect if a website you're using or the local host that you're using is using Remix, and then from there you have a nice visualizer where you can see all of your nested routes, and you can kind of see a list, if that's more helpful, that will show you your nested routes. And after this is done, we're currently working on version 2, where we'll put in some like actions and loaders, and we would be very happy to take any of your criticisms or questions. So Victoria will take you through a demo.
Hi, everyone. So up here, we have our Chrome extension. It's lit up, which means that there is Remix on this site, surprise. And over here, you can see essentially these nested roots that are going on. So this is the tree form. And then you can do the list form here, kind of expanding as it goes there. Another one that's fun to see is Shopify. Which is huge. So lots of nested URLs and layouts there. If we have one that does not use Remix, it doesn't light up. And then it simply lets you know that there is no remix detected here. So yeah, like Tim said, we're working on version 2 right now with some actions and loaders, but we would love to hear any feedback whatsoever. If there's more features you want to see that are specific to Remix, we'd love to incorporate some of those. All right, thank you.
Do you want to take any questions or?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Oh. He gets to go first.
What is the, I don't know if this, you know this, or if this is available offhand right now. What does the feature roadmap look like for Remix in like the coming months? Or, I mean, you don't need to give a timeline.
So we're just
oh, for DJ, sure, yeah.
Yeah,
sorry, I didn't
definitely.
specify, my bad.
yeah, for sure. So next up is the actions and loaders, kind of displaying ideally dynamically on the extension which routes have those loaders. So that we're aiming for the next month or so on that rollout, and then potentially as well some error handling. So Remix has lots of really fun error handling kind of built in, as well as kind of encouraging you to make your own. So kind of including that as well into kind of the dev tool there.
Okay, awesome. Thanks. Oh, you have more.
Oh, and we're also trying to work with D3 to make it so when you click on a node, it can collapse the other ones. But so that's another feature that will be kind of fun. Yeah.
Hey. So I didn't realize that like the Shopify homepage or the Remix website had that many nested routes.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah, it's wild. I will say a lot of them, if you look, is language, which is really interesting. So you have English, Dutch, all of that, and they all kind of have their own route. So I think it's kind of this built-in thing per, which is really interesting. So a lot of that is actually kind of language roots kind of going along.
Okay.
Yeah.
I need to look at that site some more.
Yeah, it's a cool one.
Right.
I think this is really cool. I wanted to ask, what made you start this project, and like, what's the idea behind it, the inception of your Chrome extension?
So we just kind of got interested in Remix as a framework where we knew it was kind of up and coming, and it seemed to be kind of an exciting thing to build in. So we attended one of Kent Dodd's, one of his workshops to help teach Remix. And at the ending, we had like a minute to speak with him, and we kind of asked him, because we already had an idea for a developer tool because we knew about the routes, and we were kind of like, I don't think there's any way. We looked and there was no developer tools as a Chrome extension for Remix, and we knew that the routes was a unique thing, and we kind of asked him, would this be a good idea? Like, what do you think about that? And he said, absolutely, like I'm on board. And we're like, all right, let's do it. Yeah, so that's kind of how we got interested.
That's so cool. I'm definitely going to use it on my own personal project.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Can you give us some idea on how you implemented? Like, how did you get all the nested routes just by going to the homepage?
So if you actually, what made it like a lot easier, if you go to any Remix, any website that runs Remix, if you go to the console log in the Chrome, like if you inspect and you go to the console log, you can type in, I think it's like ._remix manifest, and it will give you a list of the routes. And then just from there, we had to kind of create a hierarchical, it's a hard word to say, hierarchical like tree algorithm to make it so that it's like a parent-child relationship like that. So that was very helpful to have that. Yeah.
Oh, great question, by the way. I guess like, could you go a little bit deeper into the like, actually like importing the manifest into like are you, and then like how you're actually like kind of building out the extension just a little bit?
Yeah. So I guess this can be a two-parter because I was the one who kind of I took the stuff or it came as just an object with a lot of slashes, and it will be like, like something like on the Remix website, it'd be like conference/2022/ like Denver or something like that. So it was just implementing an algorithm to go through and kind of do some like, what do you call it? Like going through the strings and being like, okay, we just hit a slash, then going back and being like, okay, what was before the slash? Was it conference? And what's after the slash? Is it Denver or something like that? And then putting it in that relationship. So then we just had a more simple object, which had, parent, conference, children. It was an array. And then I think Victoria can speak to converting that into D3, which is actual visualization.
Yeah, we took the information and then kind of created that like tree with the D3 functionality. And also in terms of getting the actual manifest from the site, we used a background page and an injection script that you basically inject preload and grab that script and then feed it over to the algorithm and then grab it from D3 and kind of create those nodes that way.
Very cool.
Thanks.
This is really fascinating. So with React dev tools, I feel like you look at a production site and if you're trying to like find state or components, it's like useless because it's like these like contexts and like you can't read anything. Like because you're talking about like nested routes, are components sort of like legible with this, or do you kind of come across the same thing where everything gets kind of like gnarled up in the build or?
Yeah, so because Remix is essentially built on React, the React DevTools actually still work on it. So you can still visualize the components that way. So I agree, it's like a whole mess of all the components and all of the gnarled tree there. So yeah, we decided to focus essentially on what makes Remix unique. So really just those URL and layouts.
All right, thank you. I believe this was our first Chrome extension for the meetup. Thank you. And we did it all. We made it. Thank you all for coming. And we hope to see you next time. If you want to speak, please contact like that guy over there in the glasses, Quentin. I knew his name. It's fine. But that's it for the talks. You're welcome to stay around, hang out, eat the rest of the pizza, because if not, Ricky will have to like take that home on the subway and fight off the pizza rats. It's New York. But yeah, enjoy yourself. Drink. There's sodas in the fridge and there's still some beers left and whatever. But that's all.